All right, good evening, everyone. Tonight we are joined by Miss Rhashida Brown. She's a mother, mental health professional, and advocate, and the founder of Blossom Brown Beauty, a brand and program intended to empower young girls. Good evening, Miss Brown. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm glad to be here.
That is good. I'm happy that you could join me this evening. Um, I just wanted to just get in and talk a little bit more about your latest book, your book baby, as I call mine. I call it my book baby. So, Blossom Creed. So, tell us a little bit more about the inspiration behind this book.
Okay, so Blossom Creed, like I said, I am the founder of a brand and program called Blossom Brown Beauty. I started that program close to 3.5 years ago. And this program was basically started because I seen a need for me to discuss, mental health within my community, to stop the stigma surrounding mental health within the Black community and especially within young Black girls. I was a social worker back in New York, and there was so many young girls who just did not connect with the services that we offered and a lot of the different agencies that I worked with. So I decided to take it upon myself, to do something about it. I started this brand specifically for young Black and brown girls. And yeah, that's where the Blossom Creek came about. So with the brand, I would host different workshops, different activities every Saturday. And they were free workshops. Like literally, I used my own money to do all of this because I seen that there was a need not only for these girls, but there were a lot of young African American girls committing suicide. The
Mm,
statistics were just beyond me, and I just couldn't fathom, like, the ages were getting younger and younger, as young as 6 years old. And
wow.
I knew that, my community needed a safe space. They needed outlets, they needed resources, they needed someone to basically be the vessel. And I used myself, and I would connect them with different resources, I would connect them with different activities, workshops. So during my program, again, I facilitated this every Saturday. um I would reach out into the community, get girls to come out. They needed a safe space. We offered dance workshops. We did mommy and me yoga, meditation. It's never too early to teach these kids grounding exercises. I
Yes.
didn't get exposed to yoga until I was an adult, so I said, why are my counterparts exposed to these things at younger ages, and my community not? So
Right.
we did that, just different things. But in order for, like, I wanted my girls to know they were a part of something greater than themselves, so I came up with something called the Blossom Creed. And the Blossom Creed is what they said at the beginning of every class and to close out every class. So I was like, we say this in the program. Everyone needs to, like, every
Right.
Black girl and brown girl needs to say this. And I always said, I wish I had something like this growing up. I'm like, it was so cool to me. Like, I came up with this creed and I would say it in my program. And I'm like, no, this has to be bigger than just my brand. Like, this can touch millions of different girls. And Blossom Creed, also the inspiration behind it too. I used to go to a junior high school back in New York called Frederick Douglass Academy too, and
Hmm.
I had a principal who used to make us say something called the student creed every day at the beginning of at the beginning of school. We would, like, literally stand inside of the hallway of our school with our uniforms on, and we had to recite the student creed in English and Latin. And the student creed was basically just something to kind of instill pride in us. Every She didn't call us students; she actually called us scholars. So to
Okay.
instill pride into her scholars, and that planted a seed within me. Like, I'm 30 years old now, and that was 15 years ago, and I still remember the student creed. So I wanted my girls to basically have that. I don't Well, excuse me, my blossoms. The name of my program is Blossom Brown Beauty. I refer to them as blossoms. So I wanted my
Okay.
blossoms to have the same, like I wanted them to feel proud of their brown skin, to feel proud of everything that comes along with their black and brown skin. So that's where we get Blossom Creed.
Okay. And so, and in the book, tell us a little more of what a young girl or an adult woman could get from the inside of the story in the book.
Well, it's you're gonna get everything. I've said it so many times. Like I know I made a joke on my Instagram page about it. Actually, I said, "Oh, we could turn this into a TikTok challenge because it's catchy." So it's
Okay.
my melanin shines bright, my brown skin glows. I love the shape of my lips. I love the shape of my nose. I love the king's curls and coils in my hair. I know they love it too. That's why they stare. My confidence is high, so high to the sky. I love myself. I love my brown sisters too. We are not each other's competition. We don't believe in being rude. We help our sisters fix their crown. We don't like seeing each other down. We acknowledge our feelings first. We are well aware of our worth. We understand the value of our minds. We love to see our brown sisters shine. Our physical health's important, but our mental health is too. Go blossom brown beauty and be the best version of you.
Oh, I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
So, and I'm
I
like,
love
you
it.
can say it in the morning. You can say it's a bunch of positive affirmations together, but you don't even need the book to say this. Like, you can say this to your kids, your blossoms when they're getting ready for school. You can say this before they step out the house. This is something that's gonna plant seeds in them forever. Like,
Right.
I have glasses. Like, I hated my glasses. I hated growing up, and I'm like, my eyes, my I picked at so many different things, and if I had something to affirm me like this, I would have been like, okay, like
Yes.
like you get into it.
Yes, yes, makes all the difference in the world.
Mhm.
Just having some uplifting words, someone really believing in you and keeping
Yeah.
you encouraged. So that's amazing. That's amazing. And no, now, so I know that this is geared towards young brown skinned girls. Is there an age range that this is geared toward, or it's
Well,
just
so on the book it says Kate the on the cover of the book it says kindergarten to 12 years old. I honestly anyone can say this, but like it's a picture book. So essentially you would be reading this to
yeah,
a younger girl. Yeah. You would be reading this to a younger girl, but it can go all the way up until 12 years old. But the creed, anyone can say this creed. Anyone can say this. And even the fact that, it's addressing, your mental health is important too. I didn't really get into mental health until I was again, well, we all have mental health, but actually
right,
knowing exactly what it consists of in your emotional well-being, I wasn't really taught that early on. I used to work at a library for 4 years during high school, and I used to work in a children's section. I've never seen a book that even like hinted at self-care, self-love. On the cover of the book, you can see that it shows um self-care water and self-love soil, like even that, like just so young girls can get an idea of it. Early intervention is key. If you know
right.
better, you can do better. Raising educating my people is, to me, that's priceless. Like education, and most people don't do that. They get whatever they get and they don't reach back. Like we have to reach back and kind of pull once I get up, pull everybody with me, because essentially there's power in community. And that's where the whole Blossom Creed, and somebody planted those seeds within me, as far as like my principal making that Blossom Creed. So I
Hmm.
wanted to give back to, why did I say my principal making the Blossom Creed? I mean, my principal making the student creed, and
Hmm.
it planted a seed within me. And I've always remembered that. And I said, you know what? I want to do something like that for young girls. And voila, here you have it.
And that's amazing. And that's amazing. And how's the response been from parents, from other teachers, even people in the community that's actually purchased your book and is reading it and sharing it with their daughters or nieces or friends?
Everyone loves it. Everyone loves it. Right now, what I'm working on is just kind of marketing to a wider range. Because again, I mean, I relocated. I'm actually in the South now, but I'm originally from New York, and that's where I started the program Blossom Brown Beauty at. And so the parents there, they supported because they were, active, and they had their blossoms active in my program. I'm like marketing on like social media, but I want to get to outside of like my audience. I want
Right.
this to be, like I said, I want people from, I don't know where, like, I don't know. My mind is drawing a blank, but I want people,
Worldwide.
yeah,
Worldwide.
worldwide. And I'm like, I just had like a grandmother on Twitter write me about it, because you have to kind of get out there and put yourself out there. And I barely use Twitter, but I'm using it now because
Yeah.
clearly I know there's an audience there. I was shipping because I have my own inventory of books as well, and I because with print on demand services, a lot of times with like Amazon, there's a wait, and I'm like, I don't want
Yeah.
people to be waiting 50 months to receive a book. So
Yeah.
so I bought my own inventory, and I said, I can ship out. I said, y'all want autographs? I can, make it to whomever, make it more personable. So I was
Right.
in the post office the other day shipping books out, and I read the room. Anybody I seen who walked in there with the daughter, anybody who I even thought, I said, you don't even need a daughter. Do you have a special little one in your life? This book is for you. You talk to
Yes.
people. I got 5 sales within that. Like the post office floor became my stage, and you work the room. You have to speak to people, especially in
Right.
something like this, because you won't get your work out there, your voice, if you're timid and you're like, no, I don't want to. So that's what I say, you got to come with it. You tell people what you are, a walking billboard for your brand and
Yes.
what you have to offer. And I want everybody. I'll be at the gas station. I keep books in a car right now. Hey, I see you. I see you, little girl. Oh, you need this book right here. So
Yes. Yes. And so in your process of writing Blossom's Creed, what was your experience, as you're writing, getting the illustrations done, did you have any hiccups along the way that you can share with possibly another young writer, young up and coming writer who's trying to, venture out on this journey?
hmm okay. So with Blossom Creed, honestly, when I wrote the Blossom Creed, the words kind of just flowed effortlessly with me because it flowed from my heart. So that was something that kind of just that would the writing of it wasn't a issue. Um, because I honestly just thought about what my inner child will want to hear and be reassured of. So those words, that wasn't an issue. I think finding like just research. I don't know anyone who's written a book personally. So me just kind of learning everything as I go. So the Blossom Creed was written way before I even thought about starting a book. When
Okay.
I did decide to start a book, Blossom Creed was not the theme of the book. So it took like a whole left it, like I feel like just be sure of what you want your book topic to actually be about before you start, because you don't want to get knee deep into something and then you're like, no,
Mhm.
this is not it. But Blossom Creek just felt right. So that's the reason why I switched it. A hiccup for me came when I didn't know that there was a limit amount of pages that you needed for a
Yes.
children's book.
Yes.
I was like, oh, like, look, my Blossom Creek. I'm like 24 pages. A picture book is that long? Like, I just didn't know. So when it
Yeah.
came time for me to, I only had illustrations for a certain amount of phrases because I wasn't thinking that, oh, a book has to be 24 pages. So I think that just kind of researching everything before you actually go forth with it. And because Blossom Creed was supposed to be put out, this has been like 3 years in the making, ma'am. This has taken me some time. But I wanted it to be released last year for my daughter's birthday, her first birthday, last June, and it was another, obstacle. So it just kept seeming like like different things. And then I kept
Yeah.
researching different platforms to actually publish it on. Some people were like, oh, if you go through Amazon, you can't go through here. And I wanted it to be through a wider network, and I wanted
Right.
multiple retailers to be able to sell the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I went through Ingram Spark, and that's where I got the book published. But I just think do your research.
Mhm.
It's definitely a blessing if you have someone who can kind of lead you and guide you, but
Mhm.
still do your own research. Don't take
Yeah.
anything for facts. You have
Yeah.
to research what will work best for you. And I think also scan a market, like see what, because there's a lot of different books out there right now, and I'm so glad that there's more representation with our people. But you don't want to put something out that's pot I don't want to say don't want to put something out that's already been done, because there's room for everybody. You can
Right.
just
Right.
be just definitely be passionate about whatever it is. Put out quality work. um
Yes.
if it takes long, that's okay. I'd rather it take long and be quality than take a short amount of time and it's crappy. So
Yes. Yes. Now tell everyone where they can find your book and where they can be able to pick up a copy of Blossom's Creed.
okay, so Blossom Creed is now available. It's on Barnes and Nobles, Walmart.com, Amazon.com, but they have a little wait period. So I would say Barnes and Nobles is a little faster. Um, eBay has it. There's some places I didn't even know was carrying it, and I typed it online and I found it. So all you have to do is type in Rhashida Brown. Excuse me. Type in Blossom Creed by Rhashida Brown, which is
Mhm.
Rashida. Brown is in the color. And I also have them myself. I am shipping to all of the 50 states, not international, but all of the
Mhm.
50 states. But you can also purchase it internationally too online. But I'm
Okay.
shipping. You can get it autographed if you follow my brand's page, which is on Instagram, Blossom Brown Beauty, or Facebook, Blossom Brown Beauty. And I do have my personal page, which I usually post the same thing that I post on Blossom Brown Beauty, which is my name, Rhashida Brown, on Facebook.
Okay. Most definitely. Okay. Well, I thank you so much for joining me this evening and sharing the story and talking more about your book. And I do plan on picking up my own personal copy
Thank
as
you.
I'm going into next month. April is my 45th birthday. And so I'm on a journey to find more children's books that I can add to my library. So I greatly appreciate you taking the time this evening and joining me. And you have a great evening. And I look forward to reading your book.
Thank you so much. It's been a
All
pleasure.
right.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye bye. Again, that was Miss Rachida Brown, and you can pick up a copy of her book at Amazon, Walmart, Barnes and Nobles, just as she said, or you can follow her on IG at Blossom Brown Beauty. Again, her book is called Blossom's Creed. Thank you guys so much for joining us again tonight for another episode of my Opera series. Until next time, peace and blessings.